The 2021 edition of the Nigeria Fintech Week, after an eventful launch of the disclosed initiative, kicked off with the opening session, which brought context to the theme, sustainability and ecosystem building. In his opening remarks, the president of the Fintech Association of Nigeria, Mr. Adeolu Bajomo, highlighted some of the strides the country has achieved in fintech.
Let us highlight some of the key wins for the Nigerian fintech ecosystem so far. Nigeria retains a place as one of the top 4 fintech hubs in Africa, alongside Kenya, South Africa, and Egypt, and can do much, much more in coming years. Already, Nigerian fintech startups have raised well over $321 million in 47 deals as at half of this year, compared to $307 million during the whole of 2020, which shows a fantastic start. We're also proud that Nigeria is also one of 38 countries in the world that has produced unicorns, such as InterSwitch, Flutterwave, Jumia, Airtel Africa, Opay, and Co. We only produce 8 out of all the unicorns in the world, so we're still punching well below our potential. But we're extremely excited that we can do much more, and FinTech NGR, getting the ecosystem together, can actually facilitate a lot of this, really.
Keynote speaker Mr. Ragat Prasad, Division President, Sub-Saharan Africa, MasterCard, believe Nigeria remains a great example of how fintechs are collaborating with banks and other sector players.
Nigeria is, without a shadow of a doubt, at the epicenter of the fintech revolution in Africa. You're home to over 200 fintechs offering some amazing, innovative digital solutions. And the beauty of how we see the Nigerian fintech ecosystem is that it seems to be very well integrated between the banks, the MNOs, and the fintechs. So we're not seeing parts of the ecosystem going off on their own, but we're actually seeing a wonderful symbiotic growth that's happening in the marketplace, which is actually quite unique. From MasterCard's perspective, fintechs are absolutely the key to scaling in Africa and to addressing the huge opportunity that is on offer. This week's focus on building ecosystems is very, very dear to our hearts at MasterCard. And it really is about creating, sustaining, and growing key stakeholders together as partners to solve for efficiency, for cost, and to generate new revenue streams. But most importantly, to drive financial inclusion. Most importantly, to bring into the financial ecosystem people who have been excluded for years and years, who can now suddenly start to dream about new opportunities, who can start to dream about having access to capabilities that could fundamentally transform their lives. Nigerian fintechs are, of course, leading Africa in raising investment funds. As Ade mentioned, already over $320 million in H1 this year. And we at MasterCard are absolutely convinced that this will only keep growing. And, of course, the next nearest, I think, this year has probably been Kenya. But that's, far behind as far as we can see from the numbers in the marketplace. And the reason for this, I think, is very, very clear. It's the youthful population in Nigeria who are amazingly tech savvy. It's about the increasing penetration of smartphones. It's about the focused regulatory drive to increase financial inclusion and cashless payments. And of course, the other infrastructure benefits which are starting to accrue from access to mobile internet. And all of this is combining to create what we believe is the perfect recipe for a thriving, growing fintech sector in Nigeria.
Dr. Segun Aina, the Chairman Board of Trustees, Fintech Association of Nigeria, listed key challenges that the nation has to address to unlock the fintech industry.
I listened to the last panel session while talking about challenges and solutions and so on and so forth, and issues of connectivity, issues of collaboration and so on came forth. But for us, the ecosystem building arena, based on, in particular, the survey that was done by, S&P Young, promoted by the Fintech of Nigeria in 2020. There are three challenges that stood out, which I hope this year's conference will seek solution to. One is the issue of skills and talents, and I think it was mentioned by one of the panelists there, and this is very important. And I'm very happy that the association has put it in place. I mean, the Digistop was launched yesterday. It is primarily aimed at solving this talent issue, working with universities, identifying talents, and so on and so forth. And that combined with TechSpark will go a long way. But Fintech Nigeria cannot do it alone. Governments, other corporate bodies, and so on should partner with the Fintech Association of Nigeria to solve this problem, because we've seen from what has happened with COVID that a lot more people are now gravitating towards digital services and so on and so on and so forth. So we need to make sure that we have the people that can deliver on this, and that we have the people that can even think creatively in terms of solving some of the challenges that we have and creating new organizations, within the system. The second very important and all challenge is regulation. Regulatory clarity, support from the regulators. But we're happy that, I mean, where we were 4 or 5 years ago is different from where we are today. Where we were even last year is different from where we are today in terms of regulation. The regulators are now very, very forthcoming. They now see themselves as, to be responsible for promoting and advancing innovation. Now we've seen a lot of partnership, but we still have a long way to go. Regulators must continue to also collaborate, very well with associations like Fintech Association Nigeria and other associations that are enabling the system to move further, because it corroborates the objective of regulators in terms of ensuring financial stability and protecting the consumer. So that collaboration is very, very key. Instead of we versus them, it should be us. What is the need for the system? What is the need for the stakeholders, so that we can all work together? And I'm sure that the association will continue to deepen its advocacy and relationship with the regulators. And I'm happy that there are actually a regulators forum which was put together by the association, which brings together all the financial services regulators in Nigeria, working together with operators, with fintechs, and so on and so forth, understanding each other and coming up with solutions that will be in the best interest, of the system. And I think regulators must also bring into the internal staffing, people with brilliant ideas, innovators, and even people in the fintech world who can come in and create more understanding within the system as staff. Why we also expect a lot more regulators coming also into the fintech space, as we have seen in recent time. For instance, outside of Nigeria, the former governor of the Bank of Canada, who also became the governor of the Bank of England, McCartney, is now on the board of Stripe. Stripe is a $95 billion fintech. So it's now that, but so you can see the kind of things that you bring into it and support for them. Even in Nigeria here, the chairman of Flutterwave, the deputy governor of Central Bank, Mr. Tunde Lemon, and we have the former governor of Bank of Sierra Leone in the African space, now heading the Cambridge Alternative Center for Finance, training regulators across the world. So we see this as very good development for the ecosystem in terms of collaboration. And I hope that this conference will also help in bringing some of those things to forth and create new frontiers of partnership and collaboration with regulators. And lastly is the issue of indigenous capital. I think CFO started to talk about it before, he had to hand over the. It's very important. We like the funds that are coming in, billions of funds. In fact, in the last 9 months, the funds that are coming into Nigeria, into Africa, is more than the total amount of money that are come in the previous 3 or 4 years. These are very good development. But both of these funds are coming from abroad, which means those institutions are owned by foreigners, whatever benefit, and the market is here. So whatever money that comes out of it from ours, of course, the ultimate benefit, the dividends will go to foreigners. So Fintech Association of Nigeria will be deepening its advocacy with government, with individual, with private organizations to be able to create large funds that would not only be providing seed funding or angel funding for our young entrepreneurs and so on and so forth, but also providing scale funding for scaling, so that we'll be able to create companies that are, owned by Nigerians, owned by Africans, and making the money from it. So that the returns on those things will be resident in Nigeria and within us in Africa.
The event featured enlightening panel sessions that explored payment as a catalyst for development in Africa and women in fintech. Mr. Stanley Jacobs, the Vice President of the Fintech Association of Nigeria, gave further insight on the 5th edition of the Nigeria Fintech Week and how it's geared towards supporting economic activities.
First of all, thank you for the support you've given to the Nigerian Fintech Week. Thanks to Web TV. I'll start by saying that after COVID, the COVID pandemic and how it impacted our works and careers, a lot has changed. Some of these things are here to stay. And what we did with this year Nigerian Fintech Week was to align the team to these changes to see how we can better prepare people for the years ahead. Some very remarkable highlights of this year's Nigerian Fintech Week. One speaks to the fact that we are bringing in young people. We brought in students yesterday. We had over 2,000 students apply for the DigiStuds, out of which we selected 250. It means that we are bringing the young chaps into the fintech game. We're also talking to guys in our tech spark space where we want to see how IT can enable the new workspace and the work environment. So I'm sure you saw that yesterday and it was quite engaging, especially the charts and the panels that they had. Some other parts speaks to ecosystem. And when we say ecosystem, what do we mean? We're talking about all the stakeholders that have one thing or the other to do with the fintech space. So ecosystem building for this year, Nigerian Fintech Week had to pull in leaders from different fintech ecosystem bodies, different fintech network. Tomorrow you're going to see the guys, the leaders from the Kenyan Fintech Network also representing the East Africa Fintech Network. You're going to see the guys from Southern Africa. You're going to see the guys from Copenhagen down to Israel and even Singapore. What are we trying to do? We're trying to drive cross-pollination of ideas. We want people to be able to exchange valuable thoughts, valuable experiences, and that is the only way you can build a viable ecosystem. Now, talking about sustainability in the sense that we've seen things change. We heard today during the fireside chat, there was so much talk around banks can do without fintechs and fintech cannot do without banks. But that's not what we need. What we need is sustainability. We need an ecosystem where everyone can play, everyone can connect, and everyone can collaborate. We believe that is what we're going to leave here with at the end of 5 days. Beyond that, this is going to be the second hybrid Nigerian Fintech Week we'll be having. Participants joining us online and also in person. So it's creating a whole new experience for us, even as the planning team, as the governing council of Fintech Nigeria, and we are quite excited about it.
Stakeholders at the opening session of the 2021 Nigeria Fintech Week agreed that there must be a lot of synergy, cooperation, and collaboration between all stakeholders, from fintechs, banks, service providers to regulators, to move the industry forward.